Peace. We are back with another episode of Politics and Black Families. And I am sitting here with the Brown family. I finally got Brown. You are a busy man to reach. You are hard to track down.
Yes, sir.
Your wife was keeping me on the tail. It's a few times we was talking. You have so much going on. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for having us here to
Yeah.
have this important conversation with you
Indeed.
and the audience. So thank you very much for inviting the Brown family.
Indeed. We're going to get right into it because it's a few things I want to touch on. For one, I don't know how familiar you guys are, but what is going on with this water crisis in Atlanta right now? What are we dealing with?
I know it's out of control.
I mean, is the mayor, I don't know. I thought he was doing a good job, but I'm watching something. It wasn't my fault, but I take accountability. I don't know. It's always your fault when you're the mayor.
Yeah, somebody has to be accountable.
Yeah.
I don't know if the water work division didn't
Right.
do their job keeping an adequate check up on the pipes or what's going on, but
Right.
it definitely was a catastrophe for the city of Atlanta.
I mean, it still is a catastrophe. You know, luckily I was in Philadelphia, but I had family coming over the house, and some of my friends didn't have water pressure. And again, you know, I have advocated that the mayor's been doing a decent job from what I've been looking at. This surprised me because what was the whole tax about when you went to go vote, right?
Exactly.
The most
Right.
tax and all. I thought that was
Yep.
all.
Well, this is my take on it. They fixed the water pipes probably about 10 years ago. I don't know if you remember that in the city.
Right, exactly.
The whole city of Atlanta pipe system was revamped. So I was wondering, how in the world did this happen? They
100-old pipe.
did they miss that section?
That's what I'm
I mean, or
exactly.
what?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what are the how do we move forward from this? Like, is this going to affect him come re-election time, or do we forget it? Where does it go?
Here's the thing. You really never know exactly what you're dealing with until you have a problem. You put someone under pressure, and then you would see exactly who they are. It's very easy to exist and coexist when everything is kind of moving along. The thing about the city of Atlanta is the city of Atlanta is a machine of sorts. So it kind of moves and grooves and it does its own thing. But every now and then there's a hiccup.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then you really see what you've got in office.
Yeah.
And I compare this to the winter storm that we had.
Yeah, I remember.
Had shut down
Yeah,
the city,
I
but
remember.
this was a waterworks
Yeah,
project.
yeah. A lot of folks. Who was here for the winter storm? Was you?
Yeah, everybody.
was.
It was
remember
almost
that?
like that.
We was sliding. We
Right.
added an extra hour
Right.
every day to make up.
Oh,
Yeah, remember that? You remember that?
Yeah.
They had 2 snow
Yeah.
trucks or something
Yeah.
for the
Right.
whole
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Atlanta has to do better. You know,
With emergencies.
with emergencies,
Yeah.
with response, and
Right.
the communications from City of Atlanta was not decent. I think ATL Scoops did a better job reporting. You ask me.
Tell it. Now, see,
Now, Atlanta Public Schools, they have a plan, like you said. During the winter crisis, Atlanta Public School took care of their kids. They
Yeah.
had a plan that the kids stayed in there. They sent out for lunches and all that. But with this water,
Yeah, what could you do?
You couldn't do nothing.
stuck.
You stuck.
You stuck.
couldn't drink water. The hospitals were shut down. They had
Yeah.
to stop operations. Just a lot of things shut down because of this.
Yeah.
I think also we need to look at the infrastructure. There's a lot of building going on in Atlanta that is putting weight on the water system.
Talk about it.
And so, like, you know, cities up north, they know this. You have to invest in that infrastructure. You can't just build from the ground up. You got to make sure that you're focusing in on the roads, focusing in on things that are happening under the ground. Remember that time we had the bridge that buckled?
Yeah,
you
I
know?
remember.
So we need to focus in on
Well, the
infrastructure.
second cover, because I think was it Cheshire Bridge had an issue
Yep.
too,
Right.
And then
Exactly.
the fire, and then it was
Exactly.
85 and all of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You see the infrastructure push from the left, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of infrastructure, but it seems like Atlanta should be advocating for some of that money, more if not more money, because we keep running into issues in infrastructure.
Yes.
And I'm kind of concerned now. You
Yeah.
know, before.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I think Andrew was doing a fair job, but it was his response.
Yeah.
It was his response. You know, Ralph called me 3 a.m. He can't take a bath. I don't know if it's too much information.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
he was like, I ain't took a
Did he
bath
ever get
yet.
that? No.
He
You
gotta turn the water bottle up
He
in
got
the
a
room.
hotel room. Ralph, where you go get a hotel room at, Ralph?
Yeah.
Because he likes his bubble baths. He's into his bubble baths. Brookhaven, yeah, he had to take his bubble bath. So, I think it's an issue. But, you know, we'll move the conversation forward, right?
Right.
And you guys tell me, what are we looking at come November 5th with this election?
Well, I'm going to tell you what's very important. it's very important that everyone comes out and votes, first of all.
Yeah.
If you don't get that out there and vote, you don't have a voice.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure everybody is registered out there to vote so they can have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think outreach is working?
Yeah. Yeah, I
think
think
it's
so.
working?
Yeah.
I got some critique on that.
I'm sorry.
No, please,
Look,
please,
y'all
please.
brought me on here because you know I like to talk. Okay?
Please, let's get it going.
So I think
Black women
that
matter.
There we go. There we go. Well, y'all don't see, but there's a T-shirt here. There's a T-shirt where it says "Black Women Matter," so I'm thumbsing up.
Yeah.
But I think one of the issues is that it's too late. You see, communication needs to take place in phases. So you need to have a system where initially you are encouraging people to go vote, to get registered to vote. Okay, register. Then you have to take that same group, take that same line of communication, and say, okay, now we need you to go vote. We need you to go vote. We need you to go vote. And I think that now there's this push, but guess what? It's too late to register. So we are only talking to people who are registered to vote at this point.
Really super voters, let's be honest.
Exactly. So
You're talking to super voters.
if you are all of a sudden excited and it's June, guess what? But you didn't register to vote, you're too late. Thank you for the excitement. Drive someone to the polls. So I think that the communication needs
Right
to
to
be
it.
Say
it, Ms. Brown.
The communication needs to be rolled out in phases, and we need to have the same
What
energy
about
and
him over there?
enthusiasm.
Are you ready to vote, Young Brown?
Yeah,
of course,
Young
of course.
Brown, are you ready to?
If you're going to live in our house.
You got, okay, Brown, what you looking like, Brown vote? What you think about this election, Trump or Biden? What's your opinion, young voter?
It's a situation for sure. I'll
Say
say
it.
that. But I don't know. I can't vote for Trump because 34 felonies.
Yeah.
That's man.
What
And then
about
Biden's cool. I like Biden. I don't want to put it out there. I might vote for Biden.
Well, this is a very blue
I
family.
can't
know
do. I
that
can't.
already.
Yeah, I can't do Trump.
I already know that already.
Once
Pops ain't
you
giving
be
it up.
looking for a place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. So let's be fair. What are we concerned with Trump outside of this legal stuff? I'm talking about in the White House. I'm talking about these proxy wars. I'm talking about the suppression of voters. I'm talking about the border. What keeps you up at night if Trump gets in office?
Well, I'm concerned that wants to get back at the American public who didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
So he may want to put a grip on certain communities and look into that. I mean, have you ever read his book, Oligarchist?
No, I did read the other book.
Okay.
What was it?
The art of the deal.
Art of the Deal.
I'm be honest. Listen, they can cancel me, but before Trump was in politics, man, a lot of us really liked the stuff Trump was saying because it was
Right.
business minded and
Right.
stuff like that. So let's just be transparent. I did read the Art of the Deal. I haven't checked out.
Okay, so Trump, like you stated, was a businessman before he was the president. Everybody knows that. So in order for him to be successful as a businessman, he was in a lot of people's pockets.
Yeah.
And this book explains it.
Yeah.
So when he got to be president, some of these same people that he had them in their pocket were in government.
Yeah, but isn't that the name of the game? You look out for your friends a little bit in D.C. and we all do it, right? We all
Right.
nudge them along. Miss Brown, am I wrong here? Am I looking the wrong way?
A little bit. You got to do what's legal. Obviously, if you're connected to a certain person, a certain group, a certain enclave, obviously there's going to be that level of comfort there. But listen, you just got to do what's legal and what's fair. Okay.
Yeah. So should black voters be concerned with another Biden presidency? Or do you think he's capable of holding it down another 4 years? And we just speaking to family, eye to eye. Should we be concerned?
I think he can hold it down. Yeah, another 4 years.
You think Biden can do it?
Let's see what a young voter thinks.
Yeah. What do you think, Young Brown?
I know for a fact Biden has spent his whole life in politics.
state.
So
What about
Just
this
from
crime
that.
bill? What about the crime bill he advocated for, the 3 strike laws? Locking people up, predators. And Brent, go ahead, chime in. I can see you. I can see your face from here. What's your response on that? When he advocated for 3 strike laws to lock young brothers up in the community, and again, crime was crazy. It was. I remember. I was born in '85. I remember the crack epidemic. It was.
Yeah.
But what's your response, youngin?
I mean, in certain situations, you have to do
Stop calling me grandpa.
what you have to do I guess sometimes a lot of people aren't going to agree with the decisions he's going to make. But as a president, that's his job, is to make decisions that everyone's not going to like. And regardless, it is helpful in a way, it is destructive in a way, but I feel like it might be more helpful than it is destructive. So we really got to see and wait. So I'm on the waiting table right now. I want to see what happens before I really say, oh, okay, he needs to get rid of this or needed to backtrack or do something with it. But I believe he has a plan and action for a reason. So I'm gonna trust it for now.
Do you think he's been handling, or you think a young voter like yourself should be concerned about how he handled the border? Mom, you want to chime in? Save him.
Says the
Come save
person
him,
who
Mom.
attended an international school.
Yeah. And he's going to Morehouse, y'all.
Yeah, that's a tough one because obviously I'm a double minority, I'm a female, Black woman, and there are definitely some concerns. I think that what we need to do in that situation is just make sure that things are equitable. I think that what we feel as a Black community is, making sure that we're not left behind in this conversation and we're not left behind in these pathways, because we see people come into the country and they have a pathway basically to success. Okay, Black people, the Black community, sometimes we feel left behind. Where is our pathway? We've been here, we've been building, and we know that as soon as we come out the womb, 9 times out of 10, we are already at a deficit. Yeah. I think that is primarily the concern for the Black community.
I like that. Thank you for that response. Mm-hmm. So Cousin Ralph gonna ask Uncle Brown, come November 5th, will you have, come November 5th and Biden wins the election, do you think this war and these issues of conflict will be resolved during his presidency, or we are in for something?
Well, I think he's trying to solve the problems and he's coming up with solutions, but I think he doesn't have the right team behind him yet. And I think in November the 5th, I hope he gets the right team to solve the problems.
Ms. Brown, what do you feel? Are we headed to civil war, world war?
There definitely there's so many moving pieces, and I think that it's very easy for us to critique and to criticize. Oftentimes in politics, there are so many things happening in the back, and we are making decisions, our leaders rather, are making decisions against the backdrop of a lot of moving pieces and a lot of other decisions, and we really don't truly understand sometimes how one decision impacts another decision. But here's what I do want to say, okay? Which camera? This one. Mm-hmm. We need to be mindful also. Yeah.
She gotta take my job.
We need to be mindful also that there are genocides taking places in other areas. More specifically, I'm going to speak to the research that I did at Harvard, which was the genocide in Darfur. I was researching and writing about the genocide in Darfur in 2014. That genocide is still occurring. And my thesis question was the United States' response under the Bush administration viable for the genocide in Darfur? Did a lot of research to answer that question. So I want us to think about genocides in terms of the whole world, not just one particular area. Don't want to make any enemies, but we have to agree that humanity is humanity. And if we're going to believe that all lives matter, then we have to maybe get NATO together or get our government together and apply pressure on what do we do with genocides? Right. How do we respond collectively, the democratic countries who know that this is not the way we want to go?
Indeed. Thank you for that response. When you bring up genocides everywhere, I looked at something. I follow this guy, Shaka Bars, online, and he's talking about what's going on in the Congo, right? And it's still very entry level on me trying to figure out, not too well versed in it, but why aren't we speaking about issues like that in the Congo? I watched it. He had a video up. It may be like 2 million Black folks displaced, and there's no protest and there's nothing getting vocal. And granted, a lot of us do stand with Israel. A lot of us understand the allies and what we're doing. We understand America a little bit deeper, right? We know the layers. But I do feel like we can do a better job as a community, of a Black community, helping out our people in Africa, right? Whether we can be vocal, whether we can advocate, whether we could really tap in. Because when I found out the information, I was like, how am I this late? And we know American media, it's a thing, right? Yeah, so we try to, it's hard to get information, but I just think to your point, there are genocides taking place that we can be much more vocal about. Yep. and hopefully we just do our job moving forward as a black community first to reach out to our brothers and sisters in Africa and be more vocal. Now, I do want to ask y'all a question about this because I never get a chance to do it. What the hell is Cornell West doing?
Silent right now.
Is he in the way? Does he have a chance? What is it? What? I think, because I read his book, The Cornell West Reader, right? He's a brilliant mind, right? But it seems like he can't find allies anywhere. And is it something, will he make a impact November 5th, or it just come and go?
I'm going to let Miss Brown answer that one.
Because then he go to Harvard, was he?
He was a professor. He taught there for a bit. And I want to backtrack to say, let me give you your flowers and let me salute you.
Thank you.
Because the reason why we don't get, the reason why sometimes we are not informed or we are not mobilizing is because we don't get the proper information and messaging through the media. So these conversations that you've been hosting and holding, that is why social media is important, because it is still a form of media. Indeed. So thank you for having these conversations, because now we can control the narrative.
I appreciate it.
So that's how we attack these issues.
Indeed. There we go. There we have it. So, okay, back to Cornell.
I don't have an opinion there. Here's what I think for me. I've learned not to be too cold, too hot. I appreciate thought leaders. I appreciate people that show up their authentic selves. Yeah. And I appreciate people who can actually be a little bit disruptive, you know? Because look, he's got us talking about them.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I have to warn myself sometimes, right? I see Brother Cornell West, and I say I always enjoy listening to him talk. Mm-hmm. I've always enjoyed it. Like, I think he's almost always on point, and I thought, I was like, why aren't we really talking about him? You know, I said, are we missing a mark right here? Are we too busy looking at these two guys? And then I was like, but it's not really possible, right? I just don't see how it works that way, you know, like, and, you know, the Democratic Party has a strong hold on the black family, right? True. And I see these young voters coming up. Black men are leaning towards the Republican Party, right? We're seeing some traditional values are under attack. Are black men going to vote?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? Are black men going to show up and vote for Trump?
Well, I think you're right. I was at the gas station down here the other day at 14th Street.
Watch this picture.
Yeah, 14th Street. And this guy was down there. You guys can't see this, but this is a young black man in a truck with a Trump flag in full gear, had on his ammunition vest and everything. Just right down here, 14th Street at North Avenue. A day after he got convicted. And so I said to him, hey man, what are you guys gonna do? He said, we just came from the range, me and my buddies, we're gearing up. He said, just wait till November. Yes, this guy, he told me this. He said, we're gearing up, I just came from the range. And I said, wow. He said, so you better get your ammo.
So you saw black male voters are showing up for Trump come November 5th. The 30% deficit they're talking about in the Democratic Party may show up.
I think it's definitely a divide. I think the last poll that I saw was like 49% to 51%. But it's a close enough margin that we need to pay attention. Mm-hmm. Here's what we have to do as a party. We can't assume that we've got it in the bag. Yeah. And we have to continue to have the conversation, continue to put out the right message. Let's activate and get people to the polls, the ones that we know are already registered to vote. And just that communication. I think that on so many different levels, people don't feel spoken to and they don't feel heard. Now, me, myself, one thing I've always said, this was last year, we cannot go to the polls when the gas prices are high, when, you know, one bag of groceries is what you used to get 3 bags of groceries for.
$176 is what I spent at the grocery store today.
Yeah.
$176 for some fruit. And, okay, I did get some Fiji water, but that's my little guilty pleasure, right? And I did get some
You got to get store brand now.
Yeah. Well, I was concerned. I was like, I don't want to do it. But I felt it. And I told the lady next to me, I said, when did... what's the cereal my eat? Cheerios, Honey Oats. I said, when did that become $7.99 for a box of cereal? You know, so these things you start realizing, and you know, I guess that's something I I don't know. I hope November 5th, may the best man win.
Yeah.
Right, but I think Black voters will still maintain their allegiance to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Right, I think some of us will break free. I think we in for another. I'm not really concerned about the 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where I see a lot of movement is within the MAGA party, and I think the MAGA party has actually outgrown Donald Trump. And I think it's taken a life of his own. And I think every elected official has missed it, right? And I think that's why you see these young black guys doing it. The
Yeah.
MAGA
Right.
party is almost
Yeah.
like a mentality now,
Yeah.
right? So
That's true. That's a
this
good
Make
point.
America Great Again, and I think the Democratic Party needs a reasonable answer
Yeah.
to combat it, because if not,
do.
I don't know what the next 8 years look like.
Yeah.
So I do want to run this down to you. We're going to get into culture, right? We're going to get into culture. We're going to talk a little culture. And these are kind of like rapid fire. And then I need to ask you a personal question. We're going to talk this man to man right here in front of everybody. Had this conversation. But I do want to ask you something. Brown, which movie is better? Casino or Heat?
Yeah, Heat. I like Heat.
Heat better than Casino?
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, don't kill me. I don't really watch that much TV.
What? You got to show her. You
Yeah.
got to show her Heat.
Yeah.
Heat is classic.
Yeah, I'll show it to her.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Yeah.
And Young Brown.
I'm surprised
be
you
too young
liked
for that.
it.
What? Heat and Casino, both of my favorite movies. I only watch high quality movies, and my wife, she watches all the Tubi movies and all that.
You about to get it. You about to get in trouble. You about to get in trouble.
Okay, let me ask you this, Miss Brown. Who's the lead character from Sex and the City?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
What's her name in the show?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch TV a lot.
You don't want
Nobody knows that?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I did know that. You didn't know that. All right. Which state has better beaches, California or Florida?
Ooh,
Florida.
California.
No,
I was
Florida.
born in California. It will always be California.
I
Florida.
say Key West because
Florida.
Florida is Key West.
Florida,
Okay.
I agree. I'm with you on Florida.
Okay,
Miami,
Golden DMs.
Destin.
Yes.
We got 2 people
Yeah,
in
exactly.
ride home.
That's Florida. Hands down, Florida the best.
Oh,
in my
no.
opinion.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
California
Hold on.
beaches are cold.
Hold
Oh my
on.
goodness. Oh
Only-
my-
only-
Are you
wait
California
a
with
minute.
me? Oh
Only
no.
beach
this is
that's
bad.
good in
I'm
California is Venice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
it.
Actually swims in the water in California.
Yeah.
See, I just look.
It's nice looking.
Mo, just think
Yes.
about it. We went to Fort Lauderdale.
We did.
We've been to Miami Beach.
We did.
We've been to Destin.
True.
Walton.
Yes.
And the Keys.
Yes.
Just think about the beach.
Yes.
And we've been
But
to
I
Venice
was
Beach.
born in
Clearwater.
California.
Yeah, you could literally spend 3 or 4 weeks in Florida just
Right,
eating
just
it up.
going to the beaches.
Yeah, I think Florida has some of the better beaches, but
They do.
that's just
And-
me.
I gotta
There's no
turn
doubt.
my mic off so I can curse.
Okay.
I was born in California. I would
right.
never
I
vote.
got you.
All
All
right,
right.
come on.
So let me see. Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye?
That's a good one.
I know
Man.
that
Woo.
And he's
See,
from Detroit.
You from Motown? That was my first.
Yeah,
field trip
I'm
ever.
from Detroit.
Y'all had the first African American
man,
history museum.
I
there.
say both. I can't.
Oh, that's heavy.
Both of them guys, man, are
Yeah.
legends.
Yeah.
Come on.
What
Come on, I
about
got
you, Miss Brown?
I say Stevie Wonder. Just
Stevie Wonder.
it's an age thing. I was born in '76, so
Okay.
I just hear more of his music in commercials.
Yeah, okay.
And The Best Man. So Stevie.
What about you, Young Brown?
I don't listen to neither one of them. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, get him
about a
out the
song.
office, man.
Little
Get him
Yachty.
out the office. Okay, so I got one for you then. I got one for you. Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick, bro. Kendrick, yeah, Kendrick. Drake.
That's my son.
Yeah, Kendrick.
Yeah.
I don't know what Drake's been
Everything
on.
California.
So Kendrick Lamar. So give me your favorite Kendrick Lamar record. And I don't.
Oh, no,
Don't
Mad
even talk about
City.
They Not Like Us.
Oh, is it? I can't name that whole. Was it Good Kid, Bad City?
Good Kid, Mad City.
Mad City, yeah, Good Kid, Mad City.
What's
I
your
like
favorite
that.
record off of it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I can't tell you. I just like the album. I've heard
But I give
the
it to you.
songs.
That's fair.
I've
And
heard
one
the
more
songs.
question. We'll sum it up, and then I want to have one question just for you.
Okay.
We got to talk about this race.
All right.
One, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. How do you plan on leaving the world better than you found it?
I plan on leaving the world better being a humanitarian, which I am. I always volunteer with the homeless, hospice, kids. That's all I want to leave with my son. pass the baton to him so he can keep that going, helping people, being a humanitarian, being a transformational leader to the people.
Indeed.
And I mean all people. Because
Right.
me being in law enforcement, I helped everybody. I didn't ask if you were Republican, Democrat, where you were from. It's just helping people, giving back to the community, just helping.
Well said. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Yeah.
Well,
Lead
you
the world
know,
better.
so I'm going to keep it really simple. And Jovita Moore, when she passed, I read through her obituary. And one of the things that she said was that one of her greatest accomplishments was being a mom. And so now that she's no longer with us, her spirit lives on through her children. So I would have to say I've only given birth to one kid. Thank you. And so that is my greatest accomplishment, is me producing another human being who can, you know, give back to the community, who is a humanitarian, because that's going to live on when I'm gone.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And what about you, Mr. Young Brown?
I'm gonna piggyback off my dad. It's like it's really a legacy thing, because I feel that when I was younger, way younger, they grew me up and they kind of mentored me into that. So it's kind of built into me. Not kind of, it is built into me.
Service.
Like, yeah, service, helping people, caring for people. I remember one time, I was at the grocery store and I went to go get a sandwich, and one of the homeless dudes near my place, me and him kind of cool, and he just asked for a sandwich. I was like, yeah, I got you. And my parents was blowing up my phone. So I was, where you at? Where you at? And my dad was in a truck driving around, and he was looking for me. He was like, London, what are you doing? I was like, oh no, I'm just giving Sam a sandwich real quick. He was like, huh? I was like, that's what you taught me to do. And
Yeah,
he was like,
I couldn't say anything.
yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So when Thanksgiving come, who cook what?
Honey,
Who
you
cooking
see,
it?
This is a small family.
Mr. Brown ain't cooking
so
at all.
We cater.
He cook-
We
oh,
cater. It
oh, I
just
love
doesn't
it.
make
I
sense
love
to
it.
cook
Yeah,
with three
yeah, yeah.
people.
Yeah, Copeland. Oh yeah,
But
that's
we
beautiful. My
can't.
type
The
of party.
Copeland's turkey is a must.
So Thanksgiving, you know where we at? Hit me up because I'm coming. I'm
you
coming.
come over and
I'm
eat.
coming. I got you. So
Honey baked hams?
we gotta wrap this up. But I have to ask you about this sheriff office.
Okay.
What are we looking at the next 4 years?
Well, I'm hoping that he can get it together. He says he can. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm not going to talk bad, but we're just going to have to look and see. And he has every available resource at his hands. Money-wise, manpower. I mean, you got retired deputies who will come back with tacit and explicit knowledge that'll help him succeed. It's up to him to go out to us and go out to the public that, hey, I need help. So we're going to see if he does that.
Yeah.
Because he needs some help over there right now.
Yeah. Are you gonna run again?
I'm going to be a humanitarian like I was doing.
That's if Ms. Brown let you
I'm going to continue to do my service in the community. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. I'm going to go back to my fraternity.
Yeah.
We're going to do our voter registrations,
Yeah.
college, go to high school, go to college, you know,
Yeah,
all
indeed,
that
indeed.
service. And I'm a Morehouse graduate, and I'm going to help,
Morehouse is
help
in
him
the house,
get
ain't
through.
y'all?
Yeah.
Morehouse, hold on, sis. Can you do a little drop? Ms. Brown, two brothers from Morehouse.
Yes.
One going to Morehouse.
I'm nailing it,
Graduated
right?
from Morehouse.
Get him through.
Getting him through.
Yeah.
You just graduated from Harvard.
Yes.
What's your background?
Oh, gosh, my background, I'm a military veteran, and I work in communications. So I've worked on several campaigns and worked with several different politicians. I started in college. I interned for Congressman Melvin Watt back when I attended the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. So my background really is just a producer of all fine things. I push people to their greatness, you know,
Indeed.
and I'm kind of okay being in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me say this. She just got a job as an editor with Rolling Out. So she's going to be the new editor.
One time, clap it up one time, y'all. Clap it up, clap it up. Clap it up.
And I'm going to finish with this.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks she's the smartest in the family, but guess what? She's not. I am. You know why? Because I married her.
There you go. Yeah. So you know what it is. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you for rocking with us. Coming to see us. Politics of Black Families. Peace.
Thank you.
Check. IKeepItClassic.com. It's always a little. How I feel to be young and American. South Beach all week drinking till it's embarrassing. Chicago, then London, then Japan. Then back to Atlanta where we do it all again. Hey, fresh passport for the whole